Well, g'day everyone and welcome back to the channel. And today we are making Anzac biscuits. And before we even get into the debate over biscuits and cookies, these are biscuits by law, which I'll explain later as we go along. So, on with the recipe. We're going to start with 2 cups of rolled oats, half a cup of white sugar, and 3/4 cup of flour. We're just going to combine that together. Now for non-Australians, Anzac stands for Australian New Zealand Army Corps. These biscuits were first sent to the Anzacs who fought in Gallipoli in the First World War over in Turkey. And onto the wet ingredients. Okay, we want 2 tablespoons of boiling water, 1 tablespoon of golden syrup or sugar cane syrup, it would be known as in America. Okay, and 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. Okay, this will froth up. Should froth up. There we go. Now, as that's happening, we pour in half a cup of butter. Now these biscuits were sent across to the diggers because of the contents in them. They were very long lasting and would last for the journey across in the ships. They were wrapped in wax paper and put in a tin. Okay, that now goes in our dry ingredients. Now we just want to mix all that together. Now the very original recipe for an Anzac biscuit is slightly different from this one. It was an Anzac ginger biscuit and contained no oats. And it went through a couple of evolutions over the years and eventually became the biscuit that I'm making today. And there's also a version with desiccated coconut in it. Anzac biscuits are held very dear to the Australian and New Zealand hearts. Now the term Anzac is licensed to the Minister of Veterans Affairs in Australia and also to the Governor General in New Zealand, and you cannot use the term. There is an exemption for Anzac biscuits, but they must follow the recipe, and they also must be called Anzac biscuits and not cookies. Calling them cookies goes against the rules of using the name. Okay, baking paper covered tray, and we're just going to put a spoonful of mixture on there, spread together. I'm just going to leave room for them to expand outwards. Just once it heats up in the oven, it will just sort of spread. Now it's a sign of the war times, the restrictions on eggs and that sort of thing. The golden syrup is used as the binding agent. Once it heats up and it all melts together, the golden syrup binds them together. Now there's a bit of conjecture over whether the biscuits were baked to be sent overseas to the diggers or whether they were baked at home to raise funds for the diggers in the war effort. Now for all of those not Australian in the audience, a digger is basically what we call a soldier because they were digging into foxholes. Now, either way, whether they were made to raise funds or whether they were made just to send to diggers, you can pretty much guarantee that any biscuits sent overseas to the diggers would have been something along these lines, because they are a fairly long-lasting biscuit. Now, also in the history, Subway tried to make an Anzac biscuit, and they could not match the original recipe, so they were ordered by the Department of Veterans Affairs in Australia to cease and desist making the biscuits unless they could match the original recipe, which they decided was not economically viable. So Subway dropped them from their range of biscuits here in Australia. Now, Anzac Day is a pretty important day to Aussies because it's the birth of us as a nation on the international scene as part of the war. Okay, all done, and off we go into a 160-degree oven or 320 Fahrenheit for 18 minutes. And there we are, out of the oven, beautiful golden brown, chewy when they're warm. They'll normally harden up a bit as they cool off. You want to let them cool a bit because they're made with the golden syrup as the binding, so you want to let them cool a bit before you turn them out onto the cake rack. Otherwise, they're just going to fall apart as you try and get them out. And of course, we need to have a taste test. And they are absolutely delicious and a taste of Australia. Well, thank you very much everyone for watching. Please hit that like, hit the subscribe, and hit the little bell notification so you can see further cooking videos or any of the other videos that I put out. Again, thank you so very much for watching, and bye for now.